Hi, everyone. Hello. Welcome, welcome. If you're just now joining, again, write in where you're from. We'll get started in a second here. Also, if you have any questions, please write them in the Q&A spot. It's the button right underneath the comment section. So it's a question mark. And that's where you can write your questions, but feel free to comment as well in the regular chat. So again, I'm going to be showing a lot of content that's for K through 12. However, it still might apply to your students, and I'll still show you ways to navigate the site that apply for all age levels. So stay around and have fun with whatever you learn today. Now, for those of you who do teach K through 12, we, Ellii, are aligned with the WIDA framework. So we, have scaffolded lessons. We build on academic language. We support all four language domains: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And if you'd like to learn more about how we correlate with WIDA, there is a blog post that our publishing team wrote about this. I'll link it for you at the bottom of the screen. So feel free at any point to click that button, or I say at any point before I take the button away. You can click on it and save that for later so you can check out the blog if you're interested to learn more about how Ellii aligns with WIDA. Now, let's talk first about some content that we have on Ellii. Ellii has all kinds of content for all age levels, but I want to point out that we have content specifically for young learners in our young learners section, and I'll show you how to get there on Ellii. So when you go to Ellii, you're taken to the Discover page, and to get to the young learners section, click the Everything menu up top, go to Lessons, and then up top, there is a tag that says Young Learners. So when you're looking for different lessons, we have genre tags up top. This is for no matter what age group you teach. You can find content based on the genre tags. Let's click Young Learners. And now you can see we have lessons like phonics, picture stories, phonics stories, fun grammar lessons, simple grammar, story prompts, all kinds of content that is great for really all age levels, but specifically tailored to elementary school kids. For example, if we go into our phonics stories, so I'll click into that. We have all kinds here. And if you want to check one out, let's go to how about a fab cab? On the overview page, this is for any lesson, you'll see a description of the lesson, the focus, and related materials. And you can look at the PDF. So you just click into Open PDF, and you could display this on the board in front of your class. You could print the PDF, give it out to your students. There's audio that comes with it. Or let's go back to the overview page. You could go to the digital tasks. And on the digital side, a lot of our lessons have like a video you could watch or show your students. So number 4, watch and listen. This is the story in video form, and we can make the video bigger. You can add subtitles. You can also use the cog wheel, the settings wheel, to slow the speed down or speed it up.
A fab cab.
And you can play this.
My friend is Abby. She is a cabbie.
And this could be done in class, or you could assign it to students and they could access it on their devices. We also, in the digital area, we have, when there's a reading, an immersive reader. And this is for all of our lessons, no matter what age level it is. If a story has, or if a lesson has text in it, you can go to the bottom right-hand corner and click on the immersive reader. And then you'll get to see the text bigger. You can slow the speed down, you can speed it up, You can change the voice from male to female. In the upper right-hand corner, there's text preferences. You can change the font, the color, you can change the background. You can make the text even bigger, decrease the spacing. The middle button has grammar options where you could highlight different parts of speech. And then the far right button has line focus where you could focus on just a few lines, or you could translate the text or different words. And this is accessible on the teacher side and the student side. That's for every digital task that has a reading or story, or even grammar notes that the immersive reader can read and display for your students. A lot of our digital lessons, like this one, also have picture dictionaries, so flashcards. We'll hit start, and then with your students, or again on their devices, they can go through the flashcard. You can click the image to see the text. You can also click the text to only see the text. And there's an audio button in the upper right-hand corner
Tab.
where you can play the audio for the word. So students could listen to that on their own if they don't have a teacher in class to say the word for them. So you can flip through these and practice. So even if you are in class, it can be fun to look at the digital side as well. And there are so many additions, right? If you're assigning this to students, a lot of our digital lessons have a spot, a task where you can, or students can record themselves speaking and send it in to you. For this phonics story, it's a student reading the story, recording themselves so you can hear them reading it. For some other lessons, it might be like a prompt, a question that students respond to. So there's a lot you can do with both the PDF and the digital. Let's go back out of that, and I'll just refresh your memory as to how to get there. Again, this is under everything. Go to lessons, and then click the young learners genre tag, and you'll get to see all of this content right there. Now, we also have for K through 12 students, we have a collection called academic subjects. This is for all ages, but we found that a lot of K through 12 teachers like accessing this collection because it supports their students in their general education classrooms as well, right? We cover things like language arts and social studies and different topics within, STEM. So this is our academic subjects collection. I'm getting tongue-tied today, and it's okay. It's Thursday. It's almost the end of the week. Makes sense. I'll show you where to get to this on Ellii. When you're on Ellii, go up to the everything menu, and you want to click collections. It's over on the right-hand side. Hit collections. And then some of your pages might default to this list view, but I like the tile view. So I'll click on the little tile, the squares there, and then scroll down a little bit. And there's a collection right here that says academic subjects. Let's click into it. And from here, you can see all of those subjects that I had listed on my slide. And we've recently added more content to the digital literacy collection because of how important it is these days to build your digital literacy, whether you're an adult or a child or teenager, no matter how old you are. But these are the collections for our academic subjects. Let's look at, let's say, like language arts. And when you're in language arts, you could filter by, let's say, essay writing. So over here on the left-hand side, I'll choose essay writing. And now I can see all of this content, how to brainstorm, how to compare and contrast, how to write a concluding paragraph, how to write an introductory paragraph. There's a lot here for writing or writing tools. This is like using a computer. That probably would fall under our digital literacy collection too. Or authors and poets. Students can find information about famous authors and poets. So there's a lot that you can pull from to support your students in a variety of subject areas. And I'll just click into one more to show you. So let's go back to academic subjects and we'll scroll down a bit and we'll click STEM. It was right there, STEM. And on the left-hand side, you can see the, science, technology, engineering, math, the STEM abbreviation. Let's click math. We have lessons that include basic math symbols. We even have a geometry lesson. I don't know about you, but I really struggled with geometry when I was in high school. And farther down, there's some related materials, like we have flashcards for math vocabulary, the basic math symbols lesson, an introduction to graphing. Let's click into this geometry lesson. We'll open the PDF and you can see some vocabulary, there's matching practice, and so on. And when you have a PDF open in your class, if you project this up on the board, on the right-hand side, you can zoom in. So you could zoom in, you can use the typing function to type whatever you want. I'll get rid of that. You can draw. We love Ellii. Ooh, that's not a great heart. So you can also erase when you want to erase something. You can erase. There's a lot you can do with the PDFs. And then this lesson also has the digital. That's that launch task button. So we'll click into that. And you can see like this has flashcards as well. There's matching, see and say. You can record yourself saying the words so your students can also practice speaking. There's labeling. Lots that students can do. Okay, we'll hit the light bulb to go back. And again, that is our academics. I did it again with the academics S. Academic subjects collection. Goodness, it's like I'm doing tongue twisters. Something else I want to point out before I keep going with the content is to let you know, because I should have said this earlier, is if your program, if your school aligns content with the ELD levels. So some teachers in the United States align their program with that. You can go up to the icon in the upper right-hand corner, click Account, scroll down, and under Level Preference, you could choose the ELD levels. Or if you teach in Canada, you might choose the CLB levels, or some teachers will do like the A1, A2, B2 levels. That's the CEFR ones. If you're an adult teacher, you might choose the NRS levels. Some programs don't need any of these and you just want to keep your regular Ellii levels on. That's totally fine. So that is one way that you can customize your Ellii account based on the age group you teach. Also, if you scroll down, you can have the grade band preferences on or off. I turned them on because this session is geared towards K-12, but you could turn them off if you don't want them. You can also have the ELPs on or off. And just because we're here, I'll point out a feature for admins. If you're part of an organization, admins can change the student and activity timeout from either 15 minutes all the way up to 2 hours when students are working digitally. And admins can also turn proxy hours on or off, where students would be able to say, I'm working in class or I'm working outside of class. And if you are intrigued by this, I am hosting a webinar in the near future about what's new on Ellii. This inactivity timeout, the proxy hours, some other stuff is new. And so I'll be hosting a webinar in the near future about that. There's a link at the bottom of the screen where you can click that link and see all of our upcoming webinars. All right, let's get back to the K-12 content. Okay. Another section on Ellii that I really like, again, for all ages, but I think this can be especially useful for K through 12 teachers, is our lesson calendar. I'll show you how to get there, but this is where anytime Ellii has content that aligns with or matches up to, a holiday, an awareness day, anything like that, we will collect it for you in the calendar. So all you have to do is go to the calendar and click on like here, April 22nd, that's Earth Day. And you can see all these lessons about Earth Day. and then this collection at the bottom that links to the environment. Or April 28th, that is National Superhero Day. I could see that being especially fun for younger kids, right? And you could go to the calendar and find these different lessons about superheroes. We have a superhero story, low beginner, low intermediate, and high beginner. So all different levels there. And there's even a blog post about a superheroes group project. That's another fun fact that I didn't know about when I used Ellii as a teacher. We have a section on Ellii with group project lessons, like activities that students can do, or National Space Day, and so on. You get the idea. So I'll show you how to find that on Ellii. When you're on Ellii, go to the Everything menu and go down to Calendar. Click Calendar, and that's right where we are now. So like on my slides, I was showing you, we'll scroll down a bit to Earth Day. You just click on it, and then all that content comes up. Let's check out June because my birthday is in June. Okay, my birthday is June 5th. That's World Environment Day. And there's that link to the environment collection. Ooh, or National Donut Day. And then we have a lesson about Tim Horton. Bonus, can anyone in the chat tell me why would Tim Horton be under International or National Donut Day? Who knows what that is? Feel free to write in the comment. Who's Tim Horton? What does that mean? Let's see. I'm waiting to see if anyone writes into the chat who Tim Horton is, but I won't stay on this page too long. So again, that's the calendar. You go up to everything, you click calendar, and then you can see all of the different content. Okay, now let's go to another area where you can find lots of great content, and that is our courses and study packs. I'm just going to yell at my dog 1 second. Ruthie, stop. Ruthie, the joys of working from home, right? Okay, again, normally for webinars, she's not here. So future webinars, I won't have to deal with this. Please come back. So we have courses and study packs. Think of these like a textbook. Lots of teachers want that scope and sequence, right? There is something wonderful about Ellii where we have thousands of lessons and you can pick and choose from them, make it your own, really combine things. However, we recognize that takes a lot of time and teachers don't always have that time. So we created courses and study packs. These are lessons in a set order for you, and many of them come with assessments. So we've done the lesson planning for you. We've done the work of making your curriculum. So let's go to that on Ellii. I'll show you how to get there. I love pointing this out because not everyone knows about this. When you are on the Discover page at Ellii, all you have to do, like everything we've been doing, is go up to the Everything menu and then go to Courses and Study Packs. Now, we are at Courses and Study Packs. There's also a little handy dandy link to a tutorial here if you want to learn more about it. But up top, you can filter by the material type between courses or packs. Courses are longer, packs are shorter. You can filter by the level. The drop-down menu doesn't show because of the Crowdcast settings, but you would see all the levels. Same thing with the categories. I know you can't see the drop-down menu, but we have grammar, general English, holidays, young learners, US civics, workplace, all kinds of categories. I'll show you an example of what this looks like. So our Ellii Up courses are our general English courses. And again, this is like a textbook. You could start at whatever level your students are at and then just take them through everything. So let's go to Ellii Up F. This is a low beginner course and students progress to real world communication. It's focused on food, transportation, daily life. There are grammar targets in here. So every course comes with a description because this is the teacher side where you get to see all this information about it. It also comes with the list of lessons in a set order that the publishing team has created for you. Like I mentioned earlier, many of our courses have assessments. A lot of them even have a mid-course assessment as well. And what's really cool about these general English courses is that in addition to the final assessment, every 6 courses, there's a bigger assessment at the end that tests over the first 6, if that makes sense. So this is Ellii up F, so that we had course A, B, C, D, E, and F. And so this big assessment tests over all of the courses A through F. And then it would be the same for the next 6. You'd have an assessment for all those. So this is really wonderful, again, because it saves you that planning time. And this is under our general English category. But let's go back to courses and study packs. And I'll point out we also have things like workplace. Now, if you teach young children, they probably don't need to know workplace content yet, right? But a lot of high school students are already studying for future programs that they want to join, or different, just careers they're interested in. They want to learn more about them. We have a study pack about like financial services or healthcare, pharmacy technicians, emergency medical technicians, and so on, paraeducators, custodians. I mean, the publishing team just keeps adding more because it's been such, the courses and study packs area on Ellii has been so popular. We even made English for baseball players courses because we have some baseball players who use Ellii and would find this beneficial. So again, check out courses and study packs. I'll show you another example of one, just something different from general English. Like, let's go into English for construction workers. In this course, you can see a video. A lot of our workplace courses start with a video introduction. This also has a mid-course assessment and a final assessment. And when you're inside of a course, you could still just pick and choose lessons you want, right? Like, let's say you're using certain parts of the course, but not all of them. That's fine. You don't have to assign the whole thing. You could, like, let's go back to courses and study packs, and we'll decide to choose, how about academic? We'll choose an academic course because this is a webinar for K through 12. You can see a lot of our study packs are coming up, like systems of government. We've done so much lately with US civics, but we'll pick essay essentials. So let's say I'm a teacher, I'm planning an essay essentials course, and I see all these lessons and I think, okay, I want to add these to my class. All I have to do is click add to class. So there's this button up here, add to class. I click it, and then I'll select the class I want to join or add it to. Again, you can't see the drop-down menu. You will be able to on your own page. I will choose let's see, you can't see my drop-down menu, but I'm going to choose literacy tables, and I'll keep it in my prepping lane. I'll hit save, and now it's in that class. And you can do this for any course. You could also, like, we'll click into lesson 1. Just use this lesson individually. You could open the PDF, print it for your students, display it in class, or assign this lesson digitally. Like, look at all these tasks that students can do. This can also just be a nice visual for you when you're in this course, and you can just pick and choose. Or again, you could assign all of it. So I just added this to a class, which can be our segue into what are classes on Ellii, how do you make them, and so on. Before I go into that, I will point out, though, this folder icon. Anytime you see a folder icon next to a lesson or in a course or study pack or like a video or flashcards set, you can add it to a folder. You just click the folder icon, add it to a folder you've already made, or you could click a new folder, make a new folder, and then you can have a collection of content there. And you could save it for yourself. You could share folders with teachers that are in your organization if they also have Ellii accounts, and you can collaborate with them. But let's go to the classroom. Click the everything menu, and go over on the left-hand side to Classroom. Now, I've already created classes because I've been using Ellii for a long time, but if you haven't, your page would be empty. So what you need to do is hit Create Class. You want to pick a name for your class that would make sense to your students, because if they're doing work digitally, when they log in to their student profile, their dashboard, they would see the name of the class pop up. So let's just say intermediate grammar spring 2026. Now for feedback mode. Anytime there is a multiple choice or matching question on Ellii, that's automatically graded, right? It's a closed-ended question. It's objective. Is it A? Is it B? Is it yes? Is it no? Easy, right? But for our writing and speaking tasks, those subjective answers, you could leave it on manual. That's where you go in anytime your student submits something and you grade it all. Or you could choose suggested, which is what I like, because the Ellii bot will grade all of your students' writing and speaking tasks for you, but it's only suggested. You still get to go in and approve it and make changes as needed. If we have time, I'll show you what that looks like later. You could also choose automatic. I tend to, I say go with suggested, because automatic is a time saver, but then you don't get that teacher oversight. You're not checking in on your students. And the Ellii bot is great, but at the end of the day, it's AI and it's not 100% perfect, right? Not that we are either, but as we're the teachers, the real humans still are. We have that personal touch. And then you scroll down a bit and you can tell Ellii about your class and you'll get recommendations for content. Let's choose the level. It could be mixed level. I'm going to say this is low intermediate and high intermediate. I have a mixture of students. And for age, I'm going to choose teens, but you could pick young learners or adults, or you could also choose multiple age groups. And then for skills, I'll hit grammar, because even though, of course, we're going to cover speaking, writing, all of that, I'll just do this like it's grammar. That's the main focus. I hit save. And now I'm prompted to add students. There are so many different ways that you can add students, but on the left-hand side, that's where you can pick. You could invite them with the class code. You could invite them via email. You could manually create the accounts. If you have a lot of students in your program, we recently came out with a way to add them all at once. You could upload a CSV file with your students' first name and last name and an optional student ID. And then Ellii will just populate all the key code like logins for the students. Or if you already have an Ellii account or Ellii classes and you've already added students, you could add students to your new class that were in your old classes. When I go to this lesson planner, it will be empty, right? I just created this class. There's nothing in here. But I want to point out that in the bottom left-hand corner of every lesson planner, of every class, there is a content drawer. This is where you can save content, which of course it's empty right now because we just made the class, but you could click browse and go from there. This is where you could add folders. So earlier I showed you that folder icon. You could add content to your folder and then add that folder into your content drawer to then add it to your class. This is also where you find the recommended content. So when I created the class, I put that it was a low and high intermediate level and for teenagers. And you'll get recommendations from Ellii based on that, on those two things, the skill level and the age. So every class has its own unique content drawer based on the information you've given Ellii. There's also a student picks section. I won't have time to get into that today, but that webinar link is still listed at the bottom of the screen, and you can always check out one of our past webinars on YouTube about the content drawer, and that's where I cover student picks. Let's go into a lesson planner that actually has some content, but I'll also point out there's a tutorial here as well. So there are a lot of tutorials on Ellii where you can review and learn more about how to use our platform. I'm going to hit the Back to Classes button, and now I can see all of my classes here. Let's click English Foundations. This would be a class for lower level students. And when I created these lessons, like the lesson or the outline of the curriculum, I had younger students, not just K through 12, but specifically younger students in mind. Now you can see I have a variety of lessons in the prepping lane. This is where I put things that I'll be teaching soon, but they're not available to students yet. And then teaching is where students have access to this now. It's under their current tab on their student dashboard. And then taught would be anything that students have already done or that you've done with students. They're finished, but they can still access it on their page as well. This can also be helpful for students that maybe didn't finish a lesson and you as the teacher put it in the taught lane, but students want to go back and finish it or just study. Students can access anything that's in your teaching and taught lane, like on their side of the platform, on the student side. Now, when lessons are in the prepping lane, you can customize them. You can customize them in the teaching lane too, but once you put a lesson in the teaching lane, students can see it. So I like to customize things before students can see it. So let's click on this lesson, like bathroom. Okay, from here, I could write notes to students about what I want them to do. I could unclick this check, like this box, to get rid of the PDF if I don't want students to have access to that, or I could leave it if I don't care. There's a scheduling tab up top. I could schedule when this becomes available to students. Let's just say it will become available tomorrow, and then it will move into the taught lane on Monday. And I could also change the time if I wanted to. I'm going to hit save. And now there is an alarm clock there that reminds me it's been scheduled. So I could just manually drag lessons into the teaching or taught lane. But because I scheduled this bathroom lesson, I don't have to worry about going back now and dragging it in. It will just automatically move in the teaching when I've scheduled it. Let's click on this lesson, household problems. And let's say I only want a few students to see this, right? Whatever your reason is, maybe it's a mixed level class, maybe you're just giving some students some extra work. I can click the students tab and then click the some students button. From here, let's select, and these are made up students, by the way. I'm not sharing any private names or anything. Let's just click the first 3 students and I'll hit save. And now only those 3 students will see it. So whenever I either schedule it or drag it to go into the teaching lane, only those 3 students I selected will see this lesson. But I'll drag it back to prepping. I'm not ready to use it yet. Another thing you can do with lessons, let's click on this Dan Needs a Tan lesson, because after like household stuff, we're going to get more into phonics and pronunciation. You can click on the right-hand side, Edit Tasks. Now you can decide what your students see from the lesson. So our lessons on Ellii have lots of tasks, which is great. They're very robust, but sometimes you do some of them in class and you just want to not do all of them at home, or maybe you don't want to overwhelm students and you want to hide some stuff. So I'll unclick the questions part and the spelling note, and then I'll hit update. And now my students will only see what I have checked off. They won't see the things I've hidden. And also, another thing you can do once students have already started working on the lesson is you can see student results. So this is a fake account. I don't have student results on this specific page, but I'll show you where you can find them if you actually have results. So like, let's click on this lesson, Ollie's house. It's in the taught lane. So just pretending I already had all my students do it, or most of them. I click on it. I hit view student results. And then if my students had actually done this, I could see who's completed what, the total time they've spent on that lesson. But I can also break it down just by the tasks. So I can click on the task tab. I could see each specific task, like let's just pretend, like 3 out of 5 students did the read and listen task. 5 out of 5 students did the watch and read aloud, things like that. Or we'll go back to students. I could click on an individual student and then see everything in that lesson for that student. So this is a great way to check in on your students. And let's go back to the student list here. You can also export this. You could have the total time in a CSV file. Speaking of reports, when you're inside of any one of your classes, so I'm going to go back to my classes. Let's click this Essential Skills in English class. And I know like a long time ago, I did some work in here as a fake student, so I'll have some data. Click on details. It's in the top row on the right-hand side, the tab details. And on the left-hand side, there's a reports button. Click on that. And then you can select a date range. I'm going to go far back because I did this a long time ago. So I'll go as far back as I can. I hit apply, and then I can see what students have or how much time they've spent on my class in general. Or I could export the activity. So there's a button here that says export activity. And then I could get data on what lesson the students did, on the task, the specific task, the grade they got, the amount of time they spent, whether it was in class or outside of class. You can get all that data by clicking export activity. Now, if you are like wanting to know more about reports, or you're an admin and you want to know about some of our new features, again, I'm hosting a webinar about what's new on Ellii in the near future. Back on the lesson planner, I'll also point out you can save an entire lesson planner to a folder. So if I hit save to folder, I can choose what parts of the lesson planner I want to save. The save section right up top, that's your content drawer. So that would be content from the content drawer in your saved tab. You could choose content from the prepping lane, the teaching lane, the taught lane, or any specific one or all of them. And I'm going to label this folder Essential Skills in English Curriculum. And then I'll export it. Once I export that, I'm going to hit this View Folder pop-up. I have this entire folder here of my lesson planner, all of this material. Like, look at this. There's so much here. And then I could pin this to a different class. So let's say I'm teaching essential skills like over the summer, and I just want to reuse everything. I could pin it to my new class, or I can hit these 3 dots up top, hit share with, and then if you're part of an organization account on Ellii and you have other teachers in your program, you could share this whole folder with a specific teacher, or you click the button up top and just share it with all the teachers. This could be really helpful if you are collaborating with like a new teacher and you want to be really nice and give them a lot of your content. Or maybe you're an admin and you have certain content you want all the teachers to do. You make a folder and you share it with everyone. And speaking of collaboration, that reminds me of something else I can point out to you. When you're in one of your classes or like on your classroom page, you can make someone a co-teacher. That's why there's this role here where it says lead teacher. So I'm the lead teacher, on all my classes. Let's go back to classes. Sorry about that. But you could add a co-teacher. So I'll click the 3 dots. I'll hit edit team. And then if I hit add, I could add another teacher to this. And then that co-teacher could access the lesson planner and add content and assign things. So you can do it together. Or if you're in your lesson planner and, some programs unfortunately have teacher turnover, or people just for whatever reason have to leave, but you're a teacher, you've already created this whole class and something happens and you have to leave and leave work, and another teacher is going to take over your class. In the top, click the 3 dots and click transfer class. And then you could give this to a new teacher. You could keep yourself as the co-teacher, or you could unclick it and just give it over to someone else completely. We've also had some admins like that want to create the classes for their teachers and then transfer them and get rid of them. So if you have an admin that's making the classes for you, that's something they could do as well. But anyway, there's just so much that you can do with the digital side. And before we end, I want to show you what the Ellii bot looks like for the writing and speaking tasks. So I didn't have time to go in on the student side and submit a response as a fake student, but I already have some fake responses that I can show you. So to get to the writing and speaking tasks that your students submit, when you're inside your lesson planner, there's a button that's called grade feed. You can click into that, or there in the far, far upper right-hand corner, there is a folder tray icon, and that's also where you can get to your grade feed. You can click it, and then you can see your grade feed. Now, I wonder if I accidentally clicked something here because I used to have a long list of things to grade. So I don't know what happened there, but I'll show you. I wonder if there's a glitch because I had a long thing of assignments to grade. So I wonder, let's see. Let's go back. I'll have to talk to the dev team about that. But normally you would have a long list of assignments that your students have submitted. Here's one that I have from a past student, and they submitted a response and the Ellii bot graded it for them. So the Ellii bot gave feedback. You can, as the teacher, you can listen to what the student is saying. You can click the microphone and you can record yourself leaving feedback for the student, which is really cool. And you can also change the score. You can move this up or down to give more or less stars. You can delete the feedback if you want. So you could delete it and write your own feedback, or let's bring that back. Or you could leave it as is. You could add on. So this would be an example where a student sent in this response where the transcription is, and then the Ellii bot graded it for you, but allows you to customize it if you want. I'm just going to exit out of this. And yeah, I wonder if there's just something going on with my personal page, because normally I have a whole list of things because I have a lot of data to show you. So just join future webinars, and then you'll get to see that. You'll get to see more with the Ellii bot in future webinars. Okay. I'm going to check the chat one more time just to make sure there's nothing else. Also, I'll check the question box. Okay. This is a comment one of you wrote in. Thank you, about dialogues like listen and watch, as well as more questions. Okay. This might not, I don't know if this is what you're thinking of. Maybe you just mean in general to like all the lessons, but we do have under our lesson sections for our life and work genre, we have a section called Everyday Dialogues, and you can go to the digital side and then like dialogue, listen and watch. You can see an interaction with people. You can also listen to it. We also have a lot of videos in our grammar and pronunciation section, but that's more like a teacher teaching to you. It's not as much of that interaction with two people. But yeah, in our everyday dialogue section, we have a lot of that. And I will definitely, though, keep that comment in mind about wanting to add more of these, and maybe, like you said, just adding more to other lessons. So thank you for that feedback. But yeah, let me know, everyone else, if you have any more questions or comments that you want to write in. And if you have more feedback after this webinar, you can always email us at, let's see, hello@ellii.com. This is a great place to write in with any of your questions or feedback. So again, that's hello@ellii.com. And we have, I'll link it at the bottom of the page. We have a YouTube page. This is Ellii for Teachers YouTube, where we have tons of how-to videos, helpful videos. We also have some shorts on there about how to use different features on Ellii. So check out our YouTube page, Ellii for Teachers. I have some shorts on there where I'm teaching you how to do some stuff. I'll add more in the future. And that's a great resource for teachers. Last but not least, we always have a survey for the end of our webinars because we want to hear from you. This is another place that you can leave feedback, whether it's about the specific webinar or something on Ellii. Let us know. There is a link at the bottom of the page and just click it. It's like takes probably less than 30 seconds. It's one question, and we really appreciate your feedback. So thank you all for joining. Again, this is being recorded. You can access it by going back to this link on Crowdcast. I'll send it out in an email in the near future. And happy Thursday, almost Friday. I'll see you in future webinars. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good day. Bye. Ellii.